Order, order. Dr. Lisa Cameron to move the motion.
Thank you so much. I beg to move that this House has considered digital skills and careers. It's an absolute pleasure to serve under your chairship, Dame Dineage, and also to welcome the Minister to his place. The Government has set out an ambitious vision of establishing the UK as a science and tech superpower, and the Chancellor has also said that the UK is on track to become the world's next Silicon Valley. Whilst the UK is well placed to harness these opportunities presented by the growth of the digital economy, considerable preparation and investment in education, training and skills will be needed to make the most of these opportunities and to ensure that the UK indeed has the necessary talent pipeline to help it realise its goal of becoming a tech superpower. So it's vital we ensure that right across all stages of education, from early years to higher education, and actually throughout workplace training, people are given the necessary digital skills to succeed in their careers. So last year, the Prime Minister announced a bold new plan to cement the UK's place as a global science and technology superpower by 2030. From pursuing transformational technologies like AI and supercomputing, to attracting top talent and ensuring that they have the tools they need to succeed. We also hosted a very successful AI summit that was internationally renowned. The Government has said it wants to be at the forefront of emerging technologies in key high-growth industries such as cryptocurrency and digital assets, blockchain technologies, Web3 and AI, something I've been learning a lot about as chair of the APPG for digital assets and cryptocurrency, where they've had to take me with baby steps through the whole process, really, so that I could understand it. Very complicated. But these new developing technologies have such potential, and they could be the key driver of growth for the UK economy moving forward. One of the issues that's come to pass when we've been speaking to the sector is how many employers say that they can't find the talent they need. So if we're to realise this vision, we must ensure that the UK is investing in our talent, ensuring that future generations are equipped with the digital skills that they need to take advantage of these new career opportunities for what I would probably call going forward as a digital Britain that we're all going to work together to help to create. Yes, we'll take an intervention.
Honourable Lady, for giving way. It is a fact, I think, that many people who are autistic actually have huge potential to contribute in terms of IT skills. They are very often at cutting edge, but these same people are very often, don't give any hope at all when they leave their schools. It seems to me we're missing a trick here, and on the intelligence front, we could really use these people. I do hope that the Honourable Lady would agree with me on that point, that we should do something for these people.
Totally agree with that. I think the Honourable Member is making an excellent point, and actually just came from a meeting with DFN Project Search, where they work with people, young people with special needs, to give them placements in a variety of different industries, including in digital industries, and actually also including in this Parliament. So I think that, you know, we must harness everyone's potential, and that everyone should have the opportunity to achieve their potential, and particularly we should focus on making sure that that's an inclusive transformation, including people with special needs. Yes, the Honourable Member.
Always does brings interesting and sensible debates to Westminster Hall and elsewhere. Honourable, from the time that I've known her in here, has always been very astute and assiduous in these issues, and I thank her for that. It's so important that we are teaching the importance of having sound digital skills, especially for most modern jobs, where it's required that you understand ICT. As one who probably doesn't, to be truthful with you, but it's important for those young people coming through that they do. Lloyds Bank found that 18% of adults lack necessary essential digital skills. So does the Honourable Lady agree that consideration should be given to teaching a mandatory ICT lesson within careers classes in all schools across the United Kingdom to ensure that young people have the skills needed to attain employment in all types of industries? In my constituency, we need the young people with those skills. I think the Honourable Lady would probably agree that she needs it in her constituency as well.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, I totally agree with that. I think it's going to be part of, an integral part of the curriculum for everybody, really, as they move through the school process. I think also for people at all stages of their lives as well, there might be some people who want to change career and move into digital posts of the future. And actually, it was very interesting because if I give a small anecdote that wasn't in my speech, but when I attended one of the APPG sessions, we had the Children's Parliament come to speak to us, and we were talking about the metaverse, and the person from Roblox was there, and I spend a lot of money on Roblox as a mother because, you know, children are so interested in this. So I was desperate to speak to this person about, you know, what Roblox was really about. And he asked a question of those in the room, members of Parliament, members of the House of Lords and the Children's Parliament there, from about ages 8 to 14, who understands the metaverse? Well, all the children put their hands in the air. Not very many MPs, and actually not very many members of the House of Lords. So yes, it should be part of the curriculum, but younger people are quite digitally native as well. They're quite used to it. And so I think it has to be an across the lifespan development as well for people, so that there aren't older adults, people who are in careers where they've maybe not had the opportunity to gain these skills as well, where if they would like to gain them, that they can too. And certainly that we have a little way to catch up with the children ourselves in Parliament in terms of digital understanding. And I include myself in that, yes, I will.
Grateful for the honourable member giving way. She makes a really important point. One of the concerns that I have is the lack of digital skills amongst parliamentarians and legislators, particularly as we are trying to catch up legislation and regulation with the online space, with the digital world. And I think that is even more imperative given the recent stories about what has been happening to parliamentarians, be that cyber flashing, sextortion, honey trapping. So I think it's really, really important that our legislators have those advanced digital skills when we are talking about this area.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And actually through the APPG, we've done over 2 years now of sessions for MPs who are interested in this particular sector to try and upskill ourselves. And as I said, I totally include myself in that. You know, we've come quite a long way with it, where we'd had, when I started about 2.5 years ago, if I think specifically about cryptocurrency at that time, we hadn't had any debates in the House of Commons, and yet over 2 million people in the UK were engaged in the sector. So in some ways, the Parliament itself is playing catch-up to what's become quite mainstream in our society, but the risks are there, as you say, and in order to create competent legislation, we really need to be involved and to understand the risks. And actually, the children from the Children's Parliament said Web3 and the metaverse had extraordinary potential for them to change their education, you know, to understand what it's like to be at the precipice of a volcano, for instance, through a headset, etc. But they said very clearly, you have to make it safe. And they also wanted additional research on looking at mental health and the impact of being online for long periods of the day, and what's good for mental health and well-being, and where the limits and the cut-offs for that are. So I think they were really sensible about it. I was very, very impressed by them, actually. And also, if we think about the vacancies, a report by Tech Nation in 2022 showed that just under 5 million people were working in the UK tech economy, which was an increase from under 3 million in 2019, but more than double of the 2.118 million working in the tech economy in 2011. So you can see the potential that's growing exponentially. There were also 2 million vacancies for tech roles between May 2021 and 22, which is a huge amount from a total of 14.85 million vacancies across the economy as a whole. So that's a massive amount of vacancies. Yes, I will indeed.
Thank you for giving way, and appreciate the opportunity to intervene on this point. But just, you did mention about skills, and it's an area where I think we have failed to actually move forward. And I'll give you an example, and I hope you agree with what I'm about to say. Even industries such as diesel mechanics, working in heavy goods vehicles, where there is quite a lot of digital skills required. Unfortunately, our technical colleges are still teaching them about diesel engines that were operating in the 1950s, and they haven't moved with how the new emissions checks, which are totally digitally and you need to have high-tail skills to be able to achieve some of the regulations that are being set on emissions, and they're not necessarily moving with it. And we need to have flexibility within our education system to integrate it into every aspect of careers for individuals.
No, I totally agree with my honourable friend there, because I think this is a digital transformation that goes across every sector, really, from health. I mean, I think about finance with the APPG that I chair, but I think about health as well. I think about even, when we're looking at international aid, some of the programmes in payments transformation mean that we can reach the most vulnerable without intermediaries and get payments there faster and more seamlessly. So this is changing every sector almost that we are living and working in, and I think that all of our educational establishments have to have support to develop the programmes that we need to give people those skills that he refers to. The UK digital assets sector, for example, has the potential to boost economic growth, jobs and skills right across the UK. According to King's College London, in 2021, there were over 14,000 jobs advertised in LinkedIn in the blockchain industry worldwide, and UK-based firms provided almost a quarter of those job advertisements, even though the UK housed less than 7% of the firms worldwide. And equally, in AI, a report by Access Partnership and Amazon Web Services at the start of this year showed that 51% of employers consider hiring talent with AI skills and experience now a priority, and that boosting AI skills could increase salaries by up to 31% and accelerate career prospects. However, in spite of these reports, they also showed that nearly 3/4, 71% of employers said, just as the Honourable Gentleman has mentioned, that they still can't find the talent that they need, and it's not incorporated where it should be. But the UK already has a strong track record as a leader. We want to maintain that leadership and be at the helm of this transformation. And to be seen as a destination for innovation in business that want to start up and scale up exactly here across the United Kingdom. And I think we also have to level it up. I hear a lot in my role about businesses starting up in London, which is absolutely fantastic, but this has to be levelled up right across the United Kingdom to give people opportunities right across the UK. And as we know, the UK boasts some of the most respected universities, along with the largest financial services sector and tech ecosystem in Europe. And in 2023, the UK tech sector reached a combined market valuation of more than £1 trillion. A focus on education, as has been mentioned, and boosting digital skills will therefore be central to the success of the government's vision and ensuring that people have the skills they need to pursue these careers in digital economy transformation. And in order to turn vision into reality for the UK to become a digital and technology superpower, it will require not only ensuring that we're attracting the right talent here, but ensuring that we are building the talent base here itself through teaching and training in every sector that we have, and maximising those talent pipelines here at home. Last month, the government pledged more than £1 billion in funding to train millions in high-tech skills in order to cement the UK's place as a technology superpower by 2030 and to create high-paid jobs of the future, which I think is a really positive step in the right direction. But we have to be aware that we're facing fierce competition from other countries around the world, and it's vital that we continue this momentum and continue to work to capitalise on, I think, the good base that we already have, but to make sure that we, really maximise the potential here at home. The International Institute for Management Development, which measures economies by a World Digital Competitive Ranking last year, ranked the UK 20th out of 64 economies. So we really do have some scope for improvement, as well as the good start and progress that we have made. But in order to become a tech superpower, the UK will need to also look at how we boost digital skills from early years through higher and further education, and also through workplace training. So I would welcome the Minister's views on what more we can do to embed digital skills training in schools and throughout all stages of education. Higher education is going to be obviously crucial in this regard too. And a recent report by Tech UK highlighted that despite having less than 1% of the world's population, the UK boasts 4 out of 10 of the top digital universities, which I think is a real credit to the work that has been done. And, you know, we already have 14% of the highly cited academic publications in the world, which again is a huge achievement for the government and for the United Kingdom. Ensuring that the UK remains an attractive destination means that we also need to attract people from other countries who have the skills that we want to develop here too. So I think it would also be helpful to look at how to attract people either to university courses or into jobs who could then also train our leaders and innovators of the future, where we don't have the talent that we need already established in certain parts of the sector here. And industry leaders are also saying that digital technology continues to become an even more essential part of business. So we need to help our businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses and large businesses, to make sure that digital skills are embedded in the work that they do. Employees, I think, can be worried. I know that when I worked in the NHS, every time there was a digital change, I worried as to whether or not I would be able to do it. So I think we do need to give people the self-confidence and to make sure that managers ensure that there's continuing professional development for staff in businesses across the UK in this sector. One of the things that I did want to quickly mention before I bring my speech to a close is about diversity, because having attended a number of the conferences looking at digital assets in the UK, there's been quite a lack, I would have said, of female engagement in the audience and certainly on panels where I've taken part. And it's been something that was quite stark to me, that perhaps we're not making the digital transformation as inclusive as it could be in terms of people from different backgrounds, different age groups, different ethnic minorities, and in terms of the gender gap as well. And I think that's borne out because a recent study by Forex suggested that women are vastly underrepresented in leadership positions across the blockchain industries, with only 6% of CEOs being women, whilst men held 94% of the top executive positions. So I think that shows you how much work has to be done. And I have 2 girls, and they are very digitally native. In fact, my iPad breaks, I ask my young daughter, who's only 10, what to do often, and she can fix it very quickly, and she just does something, and it works again. And so I think that children, girls and boys, are becoming much more confident, but we need to make sure that that confidence continues through the classroom, through their education and into the workplace, so that women do take up these posts and work through to the top of these professions, which are going to be so pivotal for the future. Yes, I would.
I'm grateful for her. She's been very generous in her interventions. She's making a really powerful point here, particularly if we want to look at the tech for the future. It needs to be built by everybody who's going to be using it. It needs to be inclusive, particularly if we're looking at things like generative AI or AI large language models. What they are learning from needs to be appropriate, responsible, and inclusive. So I know we've both worked really hard on things like anti-Semitism. If we want them to be taken seriously and going forward, then they have to be built by everybody who's going to be using them. So she's making a really powerful point here.
I think that's really fundamental to the work going forward, to make sure that these systems are inclusive and they're not built by certain people with certain views, where it's perhaps a bit, it's excluding important sectors of the community, because I think, it is going to be very pivotal for the future economy and for our lifestyles in the future as well. And so everyone has to be included in making sure that this works and in shaping it in a positive way. I recently visited a really innovative business called RoboThink, who are delivering STEM, coding, robotics and engineering programs in the UK and across other 20 countries around the world for young children aged as young as 3, 4, up to 10, 12. and they were building robots and coding them, and it was just amazing to see. And I think things like that, it really struck me that the more we can have these projects ongoing in local communities, I think the more we can harness, even external to the curriculum or built into the curriculum or a bit of both, that, you know, in kids' spare time they can go on and be very positively engaged as well. And critically prepared for the workplace of the future. So, I mean, I can assure you that they were building robots that I couldn't build. So I was very, very impressed by these young children. So as chair of the Cryptocurrency and Digital Assets APPG, I really feel that this is an important time, and that we should also work in partnership with business to make sure that educationally we are really in the leadership position to achieve the Prime Minister's and the government's aims. I was interested to hear that Ripple, one of the companies, had launched a university blockchain research initiative in 2018 in collaboration with top universities around the world, including University College London and others, to support technical development, innovation, cryptocurrency and digital payments. And Circle, a leading financial technology firm and issuer of USDC, had partnered with academic institutions through its Circle University to provide education courses to improve digital financial literacy, which I think is also another really important aspect in terms of financial literacy for people, particularly those who perhaps feel digitally excluded. And in February of this year, Tether announced the launch of Tether Edu, a global education initiative dedicated to improving education skills in the areas of blockchain, artificial intelligence and coding. So much of this will be a partnership, I think, between governments and industry for the future. So I'd welcome the Minister's views on the role of industry in helping to improve digital skills, and in particular the potential for further partnerships between government, educators and private industry. So in closing, these days most jobs are going to be developed with a digital element, and we should be looking to ensure that our education system is able to equip people with the digital skills they need in order to succeed in their careers and to help drive economic growth, innovations of the future, and to meet the needs of these business leaders and the businesses internationally and in the UK, where they're saying that skills are currently lacking, but the UK has a really solid foundation, and I think we should work cross-party and definitely, you know, through the APPG's Parliament with business educators to make sure that the UK maintains its position in leadership in the digital Britain I want to see developed, but also in creating digital innovation for the next generation. I include my own children in that, you know, making sure that they can reach their potential in this new digital world for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The question is that this House has considered the matter of digital skills and career. I've just got two people that have indicated that they want to speak, just to let you know that I'm intending to call the front bench at about 5:13, so you can conduct yourselves appropriately. Alex Davis-Jones.
Chair, it's a pleasure to serve under your chairship, Dame Caroline, and I will be brief. Just wanted to make some small points. It's a pleasure to speak in this debate today, and I congratulate the Honourable Member for East Kilbride for securing this really important debate. We share a lot of concerns, but also potential for the future and what is capable for the UK and for our young people, but for everybody as well. And as the former Shadow Minister for Tech and the Digital Economy and the proud chair of Labour Digital, I am passionate about that potential and the potential that we have for technology to transform all of our lives for the better. But with this potential does come an abundance of opportunity, and it is essential that this is grasped with both hands by individuals, by businesses, so that we can all reap the benefits that are available. Now, we've all heard and felt the concerns about technology and AI negatively impacting skills, opportunity, careers, but I think there's a lot to be excited about if we approach this right. People's lives become more and more digitised. Individuals have begun to grasp the digital opportunity with both hands, as I've already said. Conventional ideas about how and where work is undertaken has also transformed as people are able to adapt to the digitisation of our world. Now, we've all seen this, from a rise in social media influencers, to marketing careers, to online food and clothing delivery services, to more and more opportunities for growing small businesses online. And while technology and AI have been smeared as threats to career opportunities, they will, of course, we need to have regulations in place. But what we're also seeing is the need for adaptation to embrace the potential that this can bring to our economy. Now, central to this adaptation is, of course, the need for internet access. We have to get the basics right. And when so many millions of people in our country don't have access to reliable, affordable internet, how can we possibly teach people the digital skills that they need to take advantage of those opportunities without getting the basics right? And that's why both myself and the Labour Party believe that access to the internet should be a right and not a privilege, because as our world and our economy becomes more and more digitally dependent, we have to take our people with us in order to take advantage of those opportunities. We can only achieve this if we ensure that people are fully equipped for this transformation. And of course, assisting people with this and enhancing their digital skills will also look different for every individual and for every community up and down our wonderful islands. For those in school, to those retiring, improving people's digital skills will span across a variety of people from a variety of ages, backgrounds, circumstances and needs, as she's already pointed out. Someone in their 80s who wants to be able to access healthcare information on an app needs entirely different resources and support to a young individual wanting to improve their coding skills, for example. And I hear from older members of my constituency regularly regarding their concerns about them particularly being left behind in this transition. And it's not just individuals that fear being left behind, it is wider communities too. Now, I proudly chair the all-party parliamentary group on coalfield communities. That stronger policies are needed to grow local economies of our former mining towns. We use this phrase, from coal to cord. Forget the Silicon Valleys, we've got the coal valleys. That's where we need to be investing. And our recent report, entitled Next Steps in Levelling Up Our Former Coalfield, emphasises these recommendations, that growing the economy in these towns is dependent upon an investment in skills and training. As I said, we've got to get the basics right. Digital skills and digital career training must be at the heart of any plan the government brings forward to ensure that our communities are to be meaningfully involved in the economy of the future. Now, former mining communities like the one that I represent know exactly what exclusion looks like, whether it's delayed delivery of fibre optic broadband services or the reliance that even the government places on having a smartphone to access basic public services. If the economy of the future is to be online focused, industrial communities like mine need the support to adapt to this change. Cross-departmental working is also crucial here in order to achieve this and ensure that different people are given different support when necessary. So I would urge the Minister to ensure that a holistic approach is taken across government when speaking to the Department for Health, Department for Education, Department for Local Communities and Levelling Up, to ensure that we have this joined-up approach to really tackle this issue head-on. I'm proud that the Labour Party is committed to this collaborative working in all our policy areas, not just tech. I know from my current role as Shadow Minister for Domestic Abuse and Safeguarding, as well as from my work on what is now the Online Safety Act, that adaptation in the face of developing technologies also means equipping people with the knowledge necessary to protect themselves from those who distinguishingly weaponise technology as a misogynistic and violent tool. Now, as a woman in politics, as the first woman to represent my constituency of Pontypridd, it's essential that I point out that, sadly, technological advances go hand in hand with an advancement in the way perpetrators can offend. And therefore, this will disproportionately impact women. These are gendered crimes, so we need to ensure that women are equipped to deal with this with the necessary digital skills. We've all seen this, from AI-generated porn, to deepfakes, to online harassment, to the rise in incel ideology. We need to be educating people on this to ensure that they are equipped to deal with this, and what is sadly an inevitable feature of our increasingly digitised society. And can I just say, I really welcome the announcement from the government today on making a new offence of the creation of deepfake pornography. I think it's long overdue, but sadly, as an amendment to a criminal justice bill, which has we've given no date so far of it coming back to the House, we do have to wonder where the priority is. And I'm also concerned about the nature of these new offences that have been created. They look to be intent-based rather than consent-based. Again, prioritising a right to have banter over a woman's right to feel safe online. So we have to be getting this right. And we are all, sadly, all too aware of the impact of AI-generated porn and image-based abuse. These are fuelled by misogyny, and tackling these issues, working with the Department for Education, have long been a source of both frustration and motivation of myself across the briefs that I've held. And additionally, one of the other big concerns I have is with a number of elections this year. Hopefully a general election won't be too far coming. That brings further concerns around the issue of deepfakes, AI-generated images and videos of potential candidates that could have real harm to people if they don't know what they're looking for, if they can't verify their sources. And again, with the rise of mis and disinformation online, people need to be confident in what they're reading. They need to be able to be confident in their candidates that what they're seeing, hearing, watching is true. And I really am concerned that people haven't got those necessary digital skills with elections coming and the impact that that could have on democracy. So, yes, of course, people need the digital skills to be able to take full advantage of the great and positive things that to come, whether that's growing our economy, boosting our place on the world stage, but they also need these skills more than ever in order to ensure that they're able to combat the unfortunate dark side that accompanies the digital world. So let us be clear, we have to protect people against the digital dangers caused by perpetrators, but equally we must never shy away from the fact and of the potential that technology holds. All of this requires enhanced support to help with online literacy in every single aspect of their life. So I'm keen to hear from the Minister in his response as to exactly what the digital media literacy strategy is from the government coming forward, because sadly we've seen very little of it of late. It's been left to Ofcom and left to platforms themselves to provide this for people. So I really would like to see some political leadership on this. Because from careers to education to retirees who just don't want to be left behind, digital skills are essential for our future and they must be available to all. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Dame Caroline. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship this afternoon. I'd like to congratulate the Honourable Member for East Kilbride, Strathaven and Les Mahago on securing this important debate. It really is important that, as a country, we ensure that we have a digitally literate population. If we don't, we deprive people of opportunity, particularly in the area of employment. So much of what we do today relies on us using the internet, from things like applying for jobs and accessing education and training, banking, paying bills and accessing other services and leisure opportunities. It's far easier to find employment online nowadays than by other traditional means because there are just so many websites that advertise jobs and there are social media sites where professionals can network. However, when we look at the statistics, we can see there's a lot of work to be done to ensure that people can take advantage of the job opportunities that having good level of digital skills can provide. Last year's Consumer Digital Index, which is run by Lloyds Bank and commissioned by the Department of Education, reported that there are around 13 million people in the UK with very low digital capability, which means, as they say, they are likely to struggle interacting with online services. That's around a quarter of the UK's adult population. The index also found that 7.5 million people, or 18% of UK adults, lack the essential digital skills that are needed for the workplace. That's over 7 million people who are missing out on opportunities to progress in work. This is a form of deprivation that must be recognised and it must be addressed. It is vital both for the individuals concerned and for the economy. Despite the government's rhetoric about us becoming a tech superpower, it is immensely disappointing that the UK ranks poorly in comparison to other countries when it comes to digital skills. According to the International Institute for Management Development's World Digital Competitive Ranking, in 2023 the UK was ranked 20th out of the 64 economies ranked. But in 2022 we were 16th, so our performance had clearly dropped. And I would be interested to hear the Minister's view as to why he thinks that that is the case. Older people are much more likely to struggle with digital skills than younger people, according to the Consumer Digital Index. For example, in the 45 to 54 age bracket, 10% of people are below foundation level, which consists of the most fundamental task to set up an individual for success online. In the 55 to 64 age bracket, it's 16% of people were found below foundation level. In the over 65 to 74 age bracket, this goes up to 29% of adults, and it's higher still for the over 75s at 37%. So we must bear in mind that adults who may have done a job, perhaps of a physical nature, may come to a point in their lives where they're unable to continue to do that, either because the job is no longer available where they live, or because of workplace injury or a health condition. And they may well then have to consider new types of employment. And so we need to make sure that there are opportunities available for people to acquire those digital skills that they will need in order to be able to access that employment. Particularly important too for people who live in rural areas, ironically, where digital access is sometimes the weakest, because of course where there is poor public transport, that can make finding work harder as well. So we must make sure that provision is there for adults to have the chance to improve their digital skills. We also need to provide adults with a chance to improve their literacy skills. The National Literacy Trust estimates that there are more than 7 million adults in England, that's 16.4% of the adult population, who are functionally illiterate. This is something that the government does need to address as a matter of urgency. We cannot hope that people can improve their digital skills if they don't already have good literacy skills. I have raised this issue numerous times in this place. For example, I put down an amendment to the Levelling Up and Regeneration Act that would have required the government to include the reducing of geographical disparities in adult literacy as one of its levelling up missions, and to review levels of adult literacy in the UK during its mission period, publish the findings of that review and set out a strategy to improve levels of adult literacy and eradicate illiteracy in the UK. It was immensely disappointing that the government voted against this, because I do believe that if one wants to address a problem, it's important to understand the extent of it and the makeup of it. Adults need greater opportunities to learn and to improve both their literacy and their digital skills, yet adult skills spending has been cut under the Conservatives. Last December, the Institute for Fiscal Study pointed out that total adult skills spending in 2024-25 will be 23% below 2009-10 levels. That's really quite shocking, despite an increase in total spending in adult skills in recent years. It goes on to say that spending on classroom-based adult education has fallen especially sharply, driven by falling learner numbers and real-term cuts in funding rates, and will be over 40% below 2009-10 levels in 2024-25. This is very damaging. It's very damaging to our economy, and that situation needs to be reversed. So we need to see a significant increase in investment in adult skills, so that those adults who struggle digitally or with literacy can acquire the necessary skills to help their career prospects and for everyday life. We also need to ensure, of course, that everyone has reliable and affordable access to the internet. In relation to employment and careers, this is particularly important for people who rely on working remotely. That could, for instance, be people who live in rural areas, people with caring responsibilities and people with ill health. It's also very important for people on low incomes and those in poverty, those living in poverty. There are some really good initiatives out there to try and help digitally excluded people get online. And I'd like to just briefly mention the work of the Good Things Foundation National Data Bank, which provides free mobile SIM cards to help digitally excluded people get connected. These are distributed by churches and community groups. And I would encourage MPs across the House to look at the work that they do and consider how they might be able to assist people in their own constituencies. According to the Good Things Foundation, 2.5 million households struggle to afford the internet in the UK, and 1 in 14 households have no home internet access at all. So clearly then, poverty is also a barrier to digital literacy. It is important that government ensures everyone is able to reach their potential. In today's job market, confidence in digital skills has an important part to play in helping people do that. We need to see a commitment from government to extend access to adult literacy and digital skills training in our communities, especially in areas of deprivation, and we need to see action on the provision of broadband right across the country so no one and no area is left behind.
Thank you. The front bench spokesman now, Seema Malhotra.
Thank you, Dame Caroline. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairship today, and also welcome the Minister to his new role. I do want to also start by congratulating the Honourable Member for East Kilbride, Strathaven, and Lesma Hagar, and congratulate her on securing this debate, hitting one of the really important and strategic, significant issues of our day, and to also making the point that there are a whole set of issues and new disciplines that policymakers need to catch up with. Digital skills covers a range of disciplines. It could mean digital literacy for engagement with services, accessing information online, office-based skills like spreadsheets or presentations, or new digital social media tools. But it also covers business software, use and development, confidence with hardware, including mobile phones, social media for businesses as well, data analytics, and so much more that's been highlighted, as she was talking about, in terms of how Britain becomes a science and technology superpower, leads the way in cybersecurity, AI, and so much more. Now, digital skills are absolutely crucial for the future of our economy and the future of businesses and our workforce. It's why a core pillar of Labour's industrial strategy is harnessing data for the public good and to transform digital skills. Data-based technologies are already transforming our economy, for example, AI being used to prevent fraud, enable search engines and develop vaccines and medicines. There are some very powerful points made by
honourable members, and indeed by my honourable friends for Wirral West and Pontypridd. And I think the key points about inclusion, whether that's by place or by demographics or by needs and those with disabilities, the gender divide, which I'll also mention, was a really important part of how we create and work towards a future that isn't by accident but is by design in terms of Britain and how it performs. Because as a nation, we are way behind where we need to be. The government have failed to equip young people and the existing workforce with the digital skills that they need. And this has been demonstrated in some of the research that's been quoted today. Fewer than half of British employers believe that young people have the right digital skills. We do much worse in computer skills than most of our economic rivals. In the 2023 report, as has been referenced, and the Lloyd's report commissioned by the Department for Education, about 13 million people in the UK had the lowest level of digital capability, which means that they're likely to struggle with interacting with online services. That's enormous. The digital skills gap is estimated across the UK economy, 63 billion, and 46% of businesses struggle to recruit for roles requiring hard data skills. And this absolutely impacts our productivity too, where we sit at 16% below international competitors like the US and Germany. Now, the Digital Skills Council has found that barriers to the uptake of digital skills courses includes opportunity barriers like the lack of encouragement, restricted options, or low teaching quality, or even capacity, and being able to access those courses in their local areas. But it also found those barriers hindering early career switchers, aged 27 to 35, from upskilling digitally. And for the points made by my honourable friend as well about being able to move from job to job or career to career in a changing economy, this is really critical. And we know that total ICT-related apprenticeship starts have fallen since the start of this Parliament by almost 30%. So there are core structural and strategic issues which haven't been dealt with effectively by the government. Now, there do need to be solutions that are commensurate to the challenge. Under the last Labour government, we introduced the statutory digital entitlement for adults with low digital skills. And boosting digital skills will similarly be a national priority for the next Labour government, led by a new national body, Skills England, driving the skills needs of our industrial strategy and the Green Prosperity Plan, making sure we're delivering that in line with what's needed on the ground with the local skills improvement plans, working with employers, unions, civil society. It's why we will also reform the apprenticeship levy so that employers can use up to 50% of their total levy contributions on more flexible courses, which is, as the Minister will know, called for by the Manufacturing 5, UK Hospitality, Tech UK, and so many others. So the system needs to work together. Young people need to understand developing technologies and be able to use them, shape them, and understand opportunities and risks. And it's why our curriculum review will also embed digital literacy and skills through children's learning and ensure that the curriculum keeps up with technological change. So just in conclusion, with some questions to the Minister, if the Minister could outline what steps the government is taking to reduce the barriers to uptake of digital skills courses and addressing digital literacy gaps. How and why the government is not sufficiently addressing the significant gender disparity in the uptake of computing skills, computing GCSEs and A-levels. There's a 92% of entries for A-level courses are male students, and that is a critical issue that needs addressing. And finally, how is the Minister working with businesses to understand the digital skills needs of the future, how needs can be best met now, and what we need to do to be future-proofing our courses? Because ensuring the workforces of today and tomorrow having the digital skills they need is vital for our citizens, for our economy, for our industry, and for our public services. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dame Dinage. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. And can I start by congratulating my honourable friend for East Kilbride, Strathaven and Lesmachau on securing a debate on this vital subject. We live in a digital age. Digital skills are absolutely essential to supporting a successful economy, for ensuring people of all ages have the skills they need in their chosen careers. And in the UK, we have a world-leading digital economy. To enhance that position, We need to ensure people can develop digital skills right throughout their lifetime, a point that's been made a number of times throughout the course of this debate. Skills that will benefit individuals and employers, and this is the time for us to act to deliver our ambitions by investing in digital education and skills and building a diverse pipeline of future talent. If my honourable friend is happy, I will set out some of the work the government has been doing, the context for that, and then pick up on some of the points that she has raised and other colleagues have raised during the course of this debate. We need that pipeline of talent in this country because, quite simply, digital skills are needed in nearly all careers in our country these days. There are more and more digital jobs and careers where the digital element of skills are absolutely central to the role. And we know, and this is a point that's been raised by members, I think every member during the course of this debate, that there are digital skills gaps to address. That gap is estimated, has been said by the Shadow Front Bench, to cost the UK economy £63 billion a year. This was a key theme, I think, of today's debate, and one that we do not take lightly. Digital jobs grew last year by 9% and are projected to continue to grow by 9% to 2030 and significantly higher thereafter. 60% of all businesses believe their reliance on advanced digital skills will increase over the next 5 years. An analysis that we will imminently publish in DFE highlights the importance of digital skills right across sectors, of those most relevant to critical technologies. The four with the highest levels of employment all relate to digital and computing. And this analysis shows how reliant we are on computer science graduates to fill relatively entry-level occupations. And we need to ensure that employers and learners are aware of the really high-quality technical routes that are now available to gain those vital digital skills. And at a local level, digital was one of the top 5 sectors where skills needs were identified across the LSIPs, the local skills improvements plans too. And that is a key sort of part of the work we're doing to engage in businesses, local authorities, and bring together the sector to make sure that we are delivering the right sort of jobs and entry into the workplace that we require. So it's clear that we have to address this issue in our economy, and we are taking action to do so. And one of our beliefs is that that digital skills journey for so many people starts in schools, in our schools. And to address the growing demand for people with computing and digital skills, we introduced computing as a statutory national curriculum subject back in 2014 across key stages 1 through to 4. And to provide a basis for further study and careers in digital, including in AI, has been raised by my honourable friend, the computing curriculum ensures pupils are taught the principles of information and computation, how digital systems work in a modern era, and how to put this knowledge to use through programming. And to ensure that pupils receive a high-quality computing education, we invested over £100 million in the National Centre for Computing Education, providing primary and secondary teachers with the support they need to drive up participation in computer science at GCSE and at A-level. Over 13,000 teachers have engaged with subject knowledge courses, boosting their confidence to teach engaging and effective lessons in this area. And crucially, I think at post-16, the computer science A-level further develops students' understanding and application of the principles and concepts of computer science, whether that's abstraction or decomposition, logic, algorithms, and data representation too. It's also true that digital T-levels are supporting progression to occupations such as software development technicians. I had an incredible visit a couple of weeks ago to Taunton and Bridgewater College and met some digital T-level students who were hugely passionate about the work that they were doing, had a really positive partnership with different digital technological providers, including Apple, to make sure not just they had good work placements and engagement placements, but also the technology they needed as their opportunity in those courses developed too. And it's not just occupations in the digital sector where good digital skills are needed. Relevant digital skills are built into every T-level qualification. The point was raised during the debate about the workforce, and quite right too. One of the steps that we've taken to boost retention of teachers is investing £100 million a year this year and in the next financial year to make sure that every early career teacher of STEM and technical subjects, including computing and digital courses, receive up to £6,000 annually on top of their pay, targeted at teachers in their first 5 years of teaching, teaching in disadvantaged schools and colleges, making sure that we help to tackle some of these hotspots that have particular challenges. We already offered that levelling up premium payments to computing teachers in their first 5 years, but the expansion will double the payments and extend the scheme to eligible FE teachers as well. We're also funding flexible skills boot camps at level 3, free courses for jobs, which include a range of in-demand digital qualifications and provision, such as network architecture, data analytics and coding. And I met some of the representatives of the Institute of Coding last week at the University of Bath, one of our digital skills bootcamps providers. I'll come back to touch on the point about sort of diversity in the sector more generally in a moment. But one of the incredible statistics that they were saying was that over 44% of starts in the digital skills bootcamp now are from women. Now, there's a huge amount more to do, but it does show that having different avenues into the workforce and different types of training interventions can have a massive impact to help be one part of tackling this issue. At levels 4 and 5, the first higher technical qualifications were in digital occupations, and 56 HTQs are available for teaching, with a further 10 approved for first teach in September. Employers in the digital sector have developed 32 high-quality apprenticeships from level 3 to degree level in exciting fields, including cybersecurity, software development, and in AI too. And in 2020, we introduced a digital entitlement, funding adults with low digital skills to study essential digital skills qualifications and digital functional skills qualifications. These were developed against new employer-supported national standards, which provided learners with the essential skills they need to participate properly and actively in the workforce. We have also introduced institutes of technology. These are employer-led collaborations. Again, one of the themes that has been raised a number of times in the course of this debate, bringing together the best existing FE provision with HE partners to build a high-skilled workforce to respond to the needs of the employer, which is absolutely crucial. 19 of the 21 IoTs have been launched already, and they all have a digital specialism as part of them. We know, of course, that higher education is a key pipeline for digital jobs, a point very well made in my honourable friend's speech. And through the Strategic Priorities Grant, we are directing funding towards strategically important subjects, including computing and IT courses. And also, from 2025, the lifelong learning entitlement will transform access to further and higher education. So all adults have the equivalent of 4 years' worth of student loans to use flexibly on quality education and skills over their lifetime. My honourable friend, of course, had a key interest in the course of this debate in ensuring that we embrace the opportunities and advances that AI offers, including a number of other members as well, and ensuring that we can make use of technologies, whether it be blockchain, of course, fundamental to the future of our digital economy in some ways, in schools. The computing curriculum as a foundational subject for all key stages ensures pupils have a broad knowledge of the skills they need to specialise in later, for example in AI, facilitating further study. And at the other end of the pipeline, I'll just make this one point then, absolutely. At the other end of the pipeline, we have an AI data specialist apprenticeship standard approved for delivery at level 7. And this highly skilled role champions AI and its applications, promoting the adoption of novel tools and technologies.
He's putting an awful lot into his speech, which is good. I wondered if he could tell us what the government's doing to have a look at which areas of digital jobs actually will be under threat with the development of AI, because, you know, today's landscape isn't going to be the same as the landscape in 5 years' time. So I wonder, you know, what work his department's been doing on that and how that is informing the courses, or whether it's informing the courses that are being provided. Because, of course, what you don't want to happen is for people to invest a lot of time and money in training for something and then AI comes and wipes it off the map.
No, can I thank you for raising that point? I mean, a couple of points here. One is that, yes, absolutely, we are looking at this as a government department. But we're also working with external partners and providers too, whether that be through the LSIPs or other mechanisms. So forward look about what skills are needed as part of our economic model, not just now, but in the years to come as well. So there are multiple different ways we're doing that. Perhaps I can write to her with some more information on it, but I can assure her that work through LSIPs and other ways is absolutely underway. The Honourable Lady from Feltham and Heston and my honourable friend from East Kilbride raised the points about female participation in digital skills. I mentioned that point about the importance of using digital skills boot camps as a lever and a mechanism to try and tackle that issue. But we know that there is a lack of diversity, particularly gender diversity, within the digital skills pipeline. Only 15% of the UK's programmers and software development professionals are female. That's why we're supporting programmes to widen participation in digital and wider STEM careers, including through the National Centre for Computing Education's I Belong programme. We're also putting £30 million into AI and data science, a conversion course programme, funding universities to develop master-level AI data science courses suitable for non-STEM students of up to 2,600 scholarships for students from backgrounds underrepresented in the tech industry. But of course, there's more to do, and we look forward to working with her to tackle that challenge. The Honourable Lady from Pontypridd spoke very passionately about some of the challenges facing not her own community, as well as some of the opportunities that digital advancements and AI can bring. I think she made a couple of points which I particularly took note of. One, she's absolutely right to highlight that in this area, this is something that cuts across all different government departments, all different layers of government, be that local governments, devolved administrations, the government here in Westminster. So she's right to highlight that point, and I can assure her I will certainly be tackling that wherever I can. She also highlighted the work that she did on her APPG and the report that she has produced on colourful communities. I'd love to meet her and talk a little bit more about that recommendation that she's made in that report. So I look forward to reading it and happy to discuss it further. The Honourable Gentleman from Caithness, Sutherland and Easter Ross, who's not in a seat but made an intervention earlier, talked about the importance of making sure that individuals with special educational needs have the right level of access to digital skills, a really crucial point. I certainly want to assure all members we're taking action in this area. We've made sure that all colleges have a named person with oversight of SEND, that colleges have to have due regard to the SEND Code of Practice, to make sure that apprenticeships have diversity champions, to make sure that IoTs are looking at a diverse workforce too. But again, of course, we're always happy to talk to colleagues about that important issue. Can I perhaps just close by thanking again my honourable friend for East Kilbride for tabling this debate. I think there was sort of clear, unanimous voice from this debate about the importance of digital skills and making sure that everybody in our country has equal and clear access to those skills and wanting to future-proof our workforce too. I've set out the offer that we have to ensure that the UK has the digital skills to remain a science and technology superpower. That is just the start. Every individual, every business, every employer, every part of our economy needs digital skills. Of course, there's more to do, but I'm sure by working together and with providers and employers, we will deliver the digital skills that our country needs for the future.
Thank you very much. Dr. Lisa Cameron to wind up.
Thank you so much, Dame Dinage. And I just want to thank everybody who's taken part. I think it's a very, very important issue and debate, and I'm really pleased that we've been able to work together to identify the key challenges moving forward for those in rural areas, in terms of those from minority backgrounds, the gender gap, talking about a holistic approach and why it's very important to level up across the UK and right across the lifespan as well. And to thank the Minister for a very comprehensive response. And I do think that the future is very positive for the UK in this regard. We do have a very innovative workforce. And I think, you know, there is a digital generation up and coming. I see it all around me, and I think we're very, very fortunate to have a Prime Minister who has a very clear and active, proactive vision for digital Britain moving forward.
Has considered the matter of digital skills and careers. As many as are of that opinion say aye. On the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Order, order. The meeting stands adjourned.